Hey everybody, I know it's been a very long time since I've actually done another reading, just focusing on the energies and what's been going on. I apologize. I've been very busy with work or jobs, I should say, plural, more than one. But I'm also just busy dealing with life and going from 4D to 5D. So lots of changes have been going on. I didn't expect to do another reading not until after the new year, but being the fact that my spirit said, now is the time to do so, is exactly what this is all about. It's about helping the collective on every level as possible. So just going to go ahead and jump in. The cards have already been shuffled. Messages have already been given. So whatever comes through, I know Spirit's going to let me know immediately. So being the fact that we are into the winter solstice, one of the things that kept coming up was regrets of the soul. And that's something that we all tend to have regrets, whether big or small. It's still important. And it's always good to go back and really think about what's going on. And the stone that my spirit guides pointed me to was a tiger's eye that I have here. And basically with the tiger's eye is to release the fear and anxiety, and it also aids in harmony and balance and stimulates taking action. So it will help you to make decisions with discernment and understanding and unclouded emotions. And being the fact the moon cycle is waxing gibbous actually makes a lot of sense. Because if you do your own research, it's either the last phase before the moon reaches fullness, or it's the first phase after the full moon. So really it's that perfect time to refocus your efforts towards breaking free of certain binds. And one thing I did keep getting was the fact that any of these cards can represent the day of the week. It necessarily doesn't have to be a full 7 days. But one day you could be feeling like a Page of Swords, or you could be feeling like the Empress one day, or even the Hierophant. So who knows? It's completely up to you. But it's always interesting to actually see. So with the first card that we have here, the Eight of Pentacles. What I kept getting was turning the page. It's kind of fitting for the fact that we're about to go into 2019. And 2019, for me personally, is going to be a very powerful year. And it's going to be a very powerful year for you as well. Just keep on manifesting those things that you ultimately desire the most. And also, I kept getting the deepening of the awakening. This may apply to some, it may not apply to none at all, but it certainly gives you something to think about. And it's also time to rest, to receive. It's pointing out that with everything that's going on, especially now, being the fact that it's December 21st, breaking free of binds, that can be internal, external, it can be a physical, it can be an emotional, it can be a mental, but you have to get sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I know my spirit is like, okay, we about to go do some new stuff, some new stuff. So you may be feeling it too. It may become, come from someone else that you least expect. It could be an enemy, a frenemy. God uses who he or she or it wants to get a message to you. So remember to stay open and receptive. A wise man once told me that. All right. And the second card that we have here is the Hierophant. And one thing that did come through with this card, it is a major arcana, is you are the decision maker when it comes to you. Like, you have to put your foot down. Your spirit's like, okay, 2018 is over. It's really time for you to start stepping into your greatness. And basically, like, case closed, because you already know what has to be done. It's like an internal intervention. Like I said, get sick and tired of being sick and tired. And also seeing what was missed. We do at times get, things get a little clouded sometimes. And we have to do our due diligence to make sure that we stay clear as possible to receive not only what a messenger might bring, as I stated before, but what your spirit or intuition will want you to know as well. So it's always good to try your best to reach your highest level of understanding. You know, they talk about 3D, 4D, and 5D, and a lot of this world is still stuck in that 3D realm, and we have to go on to moving into 5D. Some of us have moved into 5D, like myself, and there are some others that are struggling to go from one level to another level, from 3D to 4D to 5D. So you can't live your life to the fullest if your spirit is in going to 5D, but you're having the experiences of being in 3D for so long. There has to come to a point where there has to be an overall balance between everything. All right, and the next card that we have here is the Page of Swords. As I stated, pay attention to the messenger. Don't ignore the obvious. Your spirit demands it. Like, this was like really heavy on me. Like, don't ignore the obvious. Don't say the pen is blue, but you keep saying, oh, the pen is purple. The pen is purple. No, like in Liar Liar, when he says the pen that he has in his hand, he tried to lie and he said royal blue. Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. And you really got to get to the point where you must be done with everything that's not serving your higher good to go to the next phase. So make some room. You're going to get the message. Make sure you apply the message. Get rid of what you need to get rid of so you can move to the next phase. All right. And the other card, another major arcana, is the Empress. And what really came across was embrace ? So it's up to you to fill in the blank. You got the beginning of the sentence, but now you need to embrace the other half of that sentence and speak of it on your own terms. Start listening to your intuition more. Pay attention to whatever is around you, because there's messages all around, but you can't ignore the obvious. Just like the Page of Swords. Do not ignore the obvious. And what the Empress, also shows is that you have to be consciously secure, not just in your spirit, but in your emotions and how you deal with your daily dealings, whether they're good or bad. It's like, how consciously secure are you? Are you being consciously insecure? But that's something only you can answer. So fill in the blank. All right. And the fifth card that we have here is the Four of Swords. I felt a lot of heaviness with this card in particular. You better start facing, what you've been trying to hide. It just wants you to acknowledge it. Therefore, you can be able to begin to heal, to process, and to also do better. And it also, what Spirit also let me know, is to let parts of you die that are supposed to go. So, because holding on to them does you no good, and it takes up space. So it's time to really just, no more heaviness. No more regrets of the soul, of what you should have did, could have did, would have did. You're past that. Now it's time to let those things go so other important things can come through. Okay. And the next card that we have here, she's pretty, is the Queen of Pentacles. You should never allow your past mistakes to rule you. So why are you allowing it to happen? It could be a failed relationship. It could be that you failed at a job, you lost a job. It could be like feel like you're failing at life in general. But you learn so many lessons when you do fail. Because if you did not fail, you wouldn't appreciate the success that you would have. The failure is actually what makes you strong and allows you to endure even more. It's just taking hitting a bump in the road and you keep going. Sometimes people hit a pebble on their journey and let it deter them. But you got to understand, a pebble is a pebble, a rock is a rock, and a speed bump is just a speed bump. But you just have to be mindful of that. All right. Typically, I don't do cards at the very bottom of the deck. But in this case, Spirit was like, just go ahead and do it. So the card that came up was the Strength card, and how appropriate it is for all of the cards that are here. Because in this building, in this understanding, you are building this, your strength. And you will overcome. And you will overcome repeated about twice. So you have to start doing your affirmations, if you haven't started doing them already, that I am going to overcome. And everybody knows that I am is the most powerful words that you can absolutely say. So as we go in to 2019, make sure you leave a little bit of room for hope. Make sure you leave a little bit of space for the abundance to come through, and really take shop, because it's important. You don't want to be doing the woulda, shoulda, couldas in 2019, but more of the I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, to benefit not just yourself in a financial kind of way, but in a spiritual way as well. Because we all deserve abundance on some type of level. Some of us are on, well, all of us are on different levels with everyone that we encounter. But when you get to that point where you realize how much abundance is for everybody, especially for you, and you look, as I stated, that your failures, they teach you something. They teach you to be strong. They teach you to be determined. But they also teach you, don't give up if it's something that you really want. So I thank you for your time. I send healing and love to everyone that needs it. Lord knows we need more healing in this world. And I wish everybody a good night. And namaste to you, your family, and your friends. Peace.